23.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR. Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Tuesday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show. Hope everybody's having a great day. Be cognizant of the weather. I think you've figured that out by now. A lot of the schools out early. So another round coming. I think that's how it goes. Darren and Justin, we are the McFarlands here live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. DJ Damon is working on our video right now, so he's alongside for the ride. Not that he's ever on video anyways.
Yeah, but we are. You know, he's working on trying to make that happen for us here. So
another round coming soon,
yes,
correct?
Another round coming up here a little bit later this afternoon. They don't know, just to be honest with you, I've just checked all my emails, National Weather Service, the apps and everything else. They don't know when it's going to get started again. They're confident that something is going to happen again. They're not confident on what time it's going to happen. So whatever we have, and if you're thinking to yourself, well, it just rained, it's over. No, it's not over. There's going to be another strong line of storms that will develop and move in coming up here a little bit later,
Right.
but don't know when.
If we find out any new information, we'll certainly pass it along. Predators tonight at home against the Bruins. 8 games remaining in the regular season. The Bruins are the best team in the Eastern Conference with 101 points. Predators currently sit in the Western Conference in the Central Division with 90 points. They are still 6 points behind the Winnipeg Jets for that third spot in the Central, in the division. And they are 6 points ahead of St. Louis. Now, they'll have Boston tonight, and ironically, they'll have the Blues at home Thursday night. So
Clincher possibly there.
Yeah.
Mathematically, anyway.
That's right.
It would seem.
So 8 games to go, and we'll see how all this plays out. I don't think they're going to get caught, and I don't think they're going to catch Winnipeg. It doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't feel like either one of those things is going to happen.
Either scenario.
So it feels like they're locked in where they are here.
Yeah, and
which is fine.
By the way, they have another game against Winnipeg. So the Winnipeg, St. Louis are in those final 8 games remaining. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the program. They've dropped their last 2 since we've been off the air.
Yes. So maybe it's our fault.
Maybe, I guess.
We're sorry. We're back, Predators. We're back.
Maybe.
Go
we
ahead
are back.
And go light it up tonight.
Something else that's happened since we've been gone. By the way, the Braves have been dominating. They look wow. They look good.
They look like themselves.
They look really,
like the
really
team
good.
that played last year. That looked really, really
They
good.
went to Philadelphia and mowed them down, and now they're in Chicago mowing down the Whites. I'll be nice. White Sox.
Jeez.
I like to call them the White Sox.
Yes, you do.
That's a name I like to use, White Sox.
Yes.
But we'll go with White Sox.
Okay.
And they've been blowing them out of the water. So they look like world beaters. They'll be back at a day baseball game that's scheduled tomorrow in Chicago. We'll see if the weather holds up. I haven't looked at the Chicago weather, but look, early April in Chicago, you just never know.
You can get anything you want.
Yeah, it's a potpourri of things you could see. Western Kentucky, their basketball program. How about this? Steve Lutz, in his first year, guiding them to the NCAA tournament, and they lose in the first round to Marquette, and he has resigned. You know why?
No.
Not because he's ready to retire or just, go do something else. He's taking the Oklahoma State job.
Well,
He's the new coach of the Cowboys.
It's probably a pay increase there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but that's pretty interesting. 1 year at Western, and Lutz gets the Oklahoma State job.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
That's the way that works. So, yeah, and it is pretty crazy. But, again, moving from one conference to the next conference, you're going to, this is a lifestyle change he's about to undergo here just by making this move. So,
he's going to a big boy conference.
Yeah.
I know they just lost to Oklahoma and Texas, but
still, they probably have a little bit more in the bank account over there for their basketball program than they do up by 65 a little bit. So
yeah, they have more juice in that division, in that conference.
Yeah,
excuse me. But Western has already found their man.
All
it was not within. Yeah, I think it's Hank Plona, I believe is how you say his last name, Plona.
Okay.
And this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He was the head coach for the last 8 seasons at Indian Hills Community College.
Where's that?
Iowa.
Okay. They have hills in Iowa? Apparently so. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Indian Hills Community College, which is in Iowa. They had 8 consecutive regular season titles, 6 postseason conference titles, and national tournament. They went to the national tournament 7 times in his 8 years there. So,
okay.
Well decorated.
Successful on that level.
In that level. That's an interesting hire because, look, Western Kentucky, you can say whatever you want. When it comes to football and basketball, they've gotten it right more times than they haven't.
They have.
They really have.
And they may need to switch directions here because of the new era that we're in with NIL and transfer portals and things like that. I mean, what has more movement than one of these community colleges teams? Those teams are never the same year to year. They're always moving because of just the nature of what it is.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for somebody who's used to constant change on the roster, the community college guy, he's used to it. The JUCO guys, they've been doing this for years, one and dones. That's all they do because everybody's always looking for the next opportunity, so they figure out a way to make it work with a plug and play.
Yeah. So pretty interesting hire there by Western Kentucky. We've been talking about this, and it happened yesterday. Kelly Harper is out as the Lady Vols head coach, and we've been talking about the last about week and a half or so.
Yeah.
Right? Couple weeks. What if? And sure enough, it played out after 5 seasons. And we're going to talk with Vince Ferrara. He was driving back all day yesterday from Detroit. He was up there covering Rick Barnes and the men's team and their run up there in Detroit in a heartbreaker and a tough loss to Purdue that we'll talk about. So we'll spend a good chunk of time with Vince to begin the second hour of the program. We'll talk about what's next for the Lady Vols. Where do they turn? Because the big question, and we've been talking about this, do they stay within the family? And I'm not going to talk like a scene out of Godfather. Or do they go outside the nest? And it does make me wonder if it's not time to go outside the nest.
Wow.
It's time to go outside the family. We'll get Vince's thoughts on that. He's got some interesting suggestions, including a team that's currently in the Final Four. And that would be NC State's coach. He has East Tennessee ties. He coached at Chattanooga. He coached at Maryville College. And he played in East Tennessee. So he has East Tennessee ties. And he's got NC State in the Final Four on the women's side.
Wow. Okay. Well,
that's a name he will throw out there. And that is interesting.
It is. I just wonder.
I think his name is Wes Moore.
I just wonder, would he make that move to the Lady Vols? It's a tougher neighborhood than the one you're in, and I just wonder if you look at what the previous coaches have done, then knowing where the bar is, why would you come take that job?
Well, I mean, coaches don't think like that. They think like this is they're always ready to embrace the challenge. That's stuff that me and you can talk about. The coaches don't think like that. He sees an historical program that we see, and especially he knows the lay of the land considering what I just told you.
Sure.
He understands. He's been in the state for a good while. He has spent a good chunk of his basketball life in this state. He fully understands that job, and I just don't think, and quite honestly, if he's wired like that, then they have no business hiring him.
No.
Because if he's not willing to embrace that, then he just needs to stay put at NC State. That's not the hire they need to be looking at.
I understand. I'm just saying the bar for success over there
I'm not don't misconstrue what I'm saying.
I got you. No, I hear you.
I'm not disagreeing
that you
with
gotta
what
be
you're
wired
putting out
to
there.
accept the challenge.
Like,
I get it.
Those cats have to be wired. They are wired, most of them a certain way, and they don't run from a bigger stage.
No, I get it.
And if the bigger stage scares him, then he needs to stay put. He doesn't need to take the job. But I'm certainly I can't imagine. And some people, it's not really about being scared. Some people just truly look to each his own. Mark Few was just fine staying put at Gonzaga this whole time.
Yes.
He's been completely complacent and fine with saying, this is the job for me.
Yes.
I'm not they've been coming at him for 15 years.
Yeah.
Right? Bigger schools. And he's like, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It looked like until the scandal, Pat Fitzgerald was completely fine just hanging at Northwestern when the big boys had been coming after him.
Yeah.
David Shaw at Stanford.
Yeah.
He had bigger aspirations, bigger schools coming after him. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
To each his own. And it doesn't mean that they're scared. It just means like they may be cool with what they got. Like, you know what? I don't need that. Yeah. I'm fine.
I'm fine where I am. I got kids in school or whatever their thing is. Whatever their thing is. I'm wondering if, and this is going to sound like blasphemy, and I'm going to say it anyway.
But is it a fishbowl, the Lady Vols job? Yeah, it is.
I know it's a fishbowl. I understand. What I'm saying is I wonder, and this is just me saying this out loud. Hold on tight. Damon, hold on tight. I wonder if it's a good job. I wonder if it's a job where you are set up to succeed given the landscape of women's college basketball currently. Okay, I know what it was. I know what it was, and I know who did it. I'm just saying currently.
How could you question whether it's a good job? What is your reservations? How could it not be a good job?
My reservations.
Do they have money?
They do.
Do they have facilities?
They do.
Do they have a fan base?
They do.
Do they have the biggest arena out there?
Well, I don't
know
about
matters.
that.
Well, I mean, they get 23,000.
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, yes. I mean,
you could play
sure.
in front of. You could have an incredible home court advantage in front of 23,000 people.
Okay.
What do they not have?
Well, what they've got is a very short, it's a very short drawbridge. What they've got is a very short plank. What they've got is impatience.
Well,
what they've got
they've been
is
hiring,
extremely high standards.
Maybe they've been hiring the wrong people, though. It's not. It has nothing to do with can you win there?
Well, yes.
Can you win a natty there?
What is the? Yeah, I was gonna say, define win. What is win? Can you win the national championship?
It's called get the right hire.
You've been able to win the national championship in the past with this one individual who was historically good. Have you been able to win with everybody else who's come after them? No.
Okay, but does that mean the program is not set up to win?
It means that. Well, does it mean the program's not set up to win? Can they win? Of course they can win. Now, has the neighborhood changed? Yes. And has South Carolina become a behemoth? Has LSU become a behemoth? That's the difference. The difference is
Why
not
are they
so
a
much.
behemoth?
Well, because they have great coaches.
There you go.
So
they made the right
so
hire.
all you're saying is, all you have to do is find the next historically great coach, and then you'll be in good shape.
Yep.
All right.
Alabama football. You lived it.
Oh yeah.
You were there. Alabama. What?
Yeah.
Are they ever going to be able to do it without Bear Bryant?
Unreasonably high expectations.
How are you going to do it without Bear Bryant? Well, you make the right hire.
They had unreasonably high expectations.
And you hire little
They
Nicky,
did.
and guess what happens? You're back to being great again.
Listen, okay, and that's fine. I just want us to be for real about what it is that they're asking for down there.
No,
and just to say that, this Kelly Harper, and again, I've spit it out, won 67% of her ball games. And what you're saying is, yeah, that's cool, but they ain't what we here for.
Well, it's why I've been talking about this Kentucky situation, and they've chosen to bring back Coach Cal, but it's going to be toxic unless he gets them to. He's got to get them to a Final Four or a national championship game. I'm just telling you, they're already, the natives are beyond restless. You know why? Because they're not interested in some of the things that other schools are, right? They don't hire coaches to just get to do certain things, right? To get to certain levels. They hire them to win it all. And look, the program is set to win. They haven't hired the right people.
I guess
if you tell me they no longer have any funding, if they no longer have the facilities, if they've fallen behind everybody, then I would say, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I guess they can't win there. But none of that is in play.
I wonder if and I don't know. I'm asking a question. I just wonder if UT ladies basketball has turned into Nebraska football, in that it's a good brand. We know that people are passionate. We know they've got everything that you want. But in that conference, they can't get past go because of the neighborhood that has changed around them. And we know historically they were great. We know that. And they've got history, and they've got facilities, and they've got tradition, and they've got a big stadium, and they've got. But are they gonna beat Ohio State this year? Are they gonna beat Michigan this year? Are they gonna beat Penn State? The neighborhood around them has gotten significantly harder for them to return. So if they've got expectations of being national championship good at Nebraska, I got news for them, and I don't think it's coming. And that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is for the University of Tennessee women's basketball team, where are they in the landscape, and do they think that they can get back? And what is winning for them? What is greatness for them? Greatness has to be this championship or bust, and I don't know if they can get back there.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Again,
because everything's changed so much.
I don't know the lay of the land in Nebraska. I don't know. Are they willing to do whatever it takes in today's landscape to win? I don't know that. How are their facilities? I don't know. Are they state of the art? I don't know. I'm not in Lincoln. I don't have any clue. I'm simply saying, what reservations could you have about Tennessee? If you tell me that their facilities aren't up to par, if you're telling me they're not willing to spend or do whatever it takes in today's landscape, then I would tell you yes. Then that will hamper them. But none of that is in play. They're willing to do whatever it takes to win. They've been hiring the wrong coach.
Okay. I wonder if the expectations are too high. That's all. And I understand you're saying that they're not. I get it.
No, they are. I didn't say they're not.
Well, you're saying they've got all the pieces. All you got to do is find the right person, and then you can make this thing go.
If you were the greatest program for decades,
yes,
in the sport, why wouldn't you have high expectations? They do have high expectations, and they should.
Yes, they have.
They dominated women's basketball for decades.
Why wouldn't you have those expectations anymore? Well, because the person who did that is no longer here.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So what we're talking about is, are you a historically good program, or did you just run into an historically good coach?
Yeah,
and we don't have long enough of a runway in women's college basketball, because I've looked it up. I've been trying to find the answer to this. And the answer is, the sport hasn't been around in its current state long enough for us to really understand. It doesn't have as deep of a history. So we don't know. Because what they're attempting to do, Darren, how many different women's college programs have won multiple national championships with different coaches?
With different coaches, I don't know.
It's not, it's not many, because
Gino's been there the whole time.
Yes.
Pat was there the whole time.
Yes.
Kim has. She won at Baylor, and she won at LSU.
Okay.
By the way, you said, again, I go back to what you said. You said LSU's a behemoth. That's in their neighborhood. Why are they a behemoth? Because they hired Kim Mulkey. who I don't even like or root for. But they're great because of her.
Yes, they are.
That's why they're a behemoth.
I'm just saying what they're trying to do is something historical because there's really very few programs who have done what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And that is continue on
to get back to where they
a proud
used to
tradition under someone else.
Yeah.
It's an extremely difficult thing to do.
Hey,
that's all I'm putting at
what
here.
Duke basketball is wrestling with right
yes,
now.
Yes, they are because they cannot get back. They could not win another national championship this year. Coach K has got them all.
But guess what? There are programs that have. North Carolina has.
North Carolina has been able to overcome
Dean Smith, and you
the
think,
mountain
is
there.
that it?
No. They were able to come through.
Roy Williams was just fine there.
Yeah, they were able to come through.
So they're able. They got the right hires. If the program is set up to succeed, then just get it right, and things will change.
We gotta go. We're way over here. I understand. No, you've been listen.
Are we talking out loud now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
No, because we've had off the air conversations about our time, and so now I'm just reminding you.
Yeah. All right.
Because we can keep going like this.
We can.
But I don't think this.
We'll come back and we'll switch gears, and we'll hear from Titans general manager Ran Carthon. Interesting things from him. We'll hear a little bit about what he had to say today. L'Jarius Sneed also spoke to the media for the first time, but we'll hear a little bit from the general manager. By the way, it's April. Guess what this month is?
Draft. Bring it on.
The draft is this month. We'll hear from Ran Carthon next as you listen to the McFarland Show, WNSR.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Rizumkizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
And now, the fine folks at FMR Construction Services are on the air, proudly saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military, both past and present. Thank you. This message is courtesy of FMR Construction Services, your certified pros. For commercial and residential roofing, general contracting, and painting needs, call FMR Construction Services today at 615-788-7662. 615-788-7662.
It's a Bill King Show.
We created a rule decades ago on the show. Weddings, things of that nature, during the playing portion, do not get consideration. No. Don't do that. Weddings are meant for the spring. They do not get consideration during the playing portion of the season. That's just the way we work it around here. That's the way we play it around here.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Honest opinions, genuine conversations. The McFarland Show.
(615-844-5600) is the phone line and the text line here on this Tuesday afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. We are the McFarlands, Darren and Justin, live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. You can also watch the show every day on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And you can talk with us on our YouTube page. Just type in WNSR Live in the search tab, and we can see your comments, and we can comment to you as well.
I got a question for you.
What do you got a question?
You was talking about
what you got.
Kelly Harper. Do you think let me ask you this. Why is it that the athletes are going to these other coaches?
I used to do a segment called Why Is It?
Yeah,
you know
why
why is it?
Why is it they're going to these other coaches more? I mean, is there an appeal because of the coach, or is it because of the NIL? What do you think makes them go to Kim Mulkey? Because her personality is just so off the charts.
Well, I mean, but she's had sustained success everywhere she's been. I mean, she was a Baylor forever.
Right.
And Dawn Staley clearly has got it going on. She's trying to win, national championship number 3? So, I mean, is South Carolina a powerhouse program? No. Guess why they're a powerhouse program? Because they have Dawn Staley.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
So if they hired somebody that had that status, it would draw those players. Because I noticed that on their recruiting, the recruiting is very weak on Tennessee.
I don't disagree. I don't agree with that.
Really?
Like, I don't think they have Pat Summitt. They don't. And by the way, how good was Candace Parker? By the way,
excellent.
I mean,
outstanding.
Like
outstanding.
Whoever that, golly, man,
outstanding.
She was really good.
But that's the problem. Everything is compared to Pat Summitt. And and she set the standard, and I get all that.
Yeah,
I get all that. But you're asking the next person coming in the door to do Pat Summitt things because that's what you're used to.
And it's amazing when you look at TV, talking about TV, how many women that played at UT are in television.
Yeah.
With SEC.
Yeah.
Well,
all over the country.
Well, because she had one grade after another. But Gino's no different at UConn.
Yeah.
All the
absolutely.
girls are the same way there because they've been littered with one Hall of Fame player after another, just like Tennessee with Pat Summitt.
So the history's changed a lot.
The game has changed.
The game's changed.
Okay? Look, if Pat Summitt was today, let's just say she was, let's say she'd been coaching this whole time.
Yeah.
There's a real shot. We're sitting here talking about her pulling a Nick Saban, right?
Absolutely.
Just up and just saying,
Absolutely.
I ain't doing this no more. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm Coach K did it.
Game has changed.
Right. Jay
Game
Wright.
has changed.
Like, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, game has changed completely.
Right. I'm not going to do this with these girls. I'm not going to negotiate prices every 6 months. Like, I'm not doing this.
If I want to do that, it's called a pro basketball. It's called the WNBA. There's a league full of teams doing just that. I would go there if I wanted that.
Yeah, I don't think she'd sign up for this.
I don't think so either.
I don't want to speak for her, but,
But the game has changed.
It's changed. Yep.
So,
all right, let's hear what Titans general manager Rand Carthon had to say to the media today.
With his mom, Mama Sneed, and kind of telling her how small the football world is. And an example was her best friend knows Chris Harris from college. You know what I mean? So our football world is really small, but looking forward to having him in the building on a regular basis with all the rest of the guys. But more than anything, I just wanted to get up here and speak to you guys a little bit about free agency. And we haven't had a chance to speak. I know I spoke with Paul one-on-one, Jim one-on-one about free agency. Just overall, man, we came in with a targeted plan and, an idea of what we want to do. And that was, started by our pro department, and those guys led by Brian Gardner, as well as our coaching staff being able to come in, hit the ground running. And one thing I want to say, and I don't think we do this enough, I want to thank Miss Amy. for allowing us to do the things that we've done. This doesn't happen, without her approving it and being okay with it, as well as Kenneth and Barkley. It was a lot of conversations with them. We had a meeting to let them know what our targeted plan was, how we were going to go about it. And she was on board, 100% supportive. And even when we had to pivot, making her aware of what we were doing. And so, I want to thank her for allowing us to do that. Also Anthony Robinson, leading our personnel department, Chad Brinker, Vin Marino. Vin is a stud. I know Vin, walks around pretty unassuming most days, but Vin is the magic that allowed these deals to come to fruition. Him and his relationships, Chad and his relationships, my relationships, A-Rob's relationships, our pro department. We really lean on everybody, and it's not just myself, leading the charge on getting players in here. It's wherever we have an advantage or relationship, we like to take advantage of that. So you guys are aware of, everybody we signed. Glad to talk about those guys and, in particular, if you guys have questions. So just open it up to you guys.
How much does signing or the trade and signing of Snead move the needle for you this year? I mean, that seems to be a very large piece to this equation.
Yeah, I mean, it helps us tremendously out from a coverage standpoint on the back end. And, if you guys know Denard and what he wants to do, I think the guys that we signed in Cheeto and LJ, I think they both, fit what he wants to do from a coverage standpoint. And then having Roger here, Roger's played outside, he's played inside, and so he fits as well. So it gives us, a legitimate, top three out of the gate, and we're going to continue to add guys. We're going to expect guys that were here last year to step up, and earn those other spots. But we're bringing in scheme fits for what we're going to do defensively.
Do you expect this group to be the best secondary in the league?
That's up for them to decide. We paid a lot of money to get those two guys on the outside, so I expect those guys to play, really well. But I know one thing is that they'll be coached extremely hard. They'll be really detailed in the way they approach it. So I expect those guys to play well this year.
With how this defense has been built, how are you looking at the pass rush? Where is this a situation where it's like the secondary, they're going to be strong from the back end to the front end? Like, how do you address that?
No, we want to build a complete defense. In the past, we've had our strength be up front, and that's kind of shifted right now, but we're still looking to address those positions as needed. From a free agency standpoint, free agency is open. It's not over. So we're going to continue to look. And then obviously we got the draft, which is taking our focus now. So we're going to continue to look to add, up front on all sides of the ball. But we're still working on that.
You said that I think we told Jim and Paul about you wanted to re-sign Nico and wanted to re-sign Alshire, I'm assuming at the right price. But once you didn't get those guys, you went out and got Ridley. Was that what you were talking about as a pivot, or could you have made all of that happen?
There was a scenario that Vin and Chad put together where we could have assembled the Avengers, but we wouldn't have had money to sign our draft class or do anything else. So those were scenarios. But Danico and Aziz were two vital members, of our team. Aziz was an official captain, and Danico was an unofficial captain, as you guys know. So those guys were, play huge parts for us, and it's going to suck to see them leave and have to play them twice a year. But we feel like we'll find ways to get better and replace those guys.
Is your starting right tackle on the roster right now? Is your starting left tackle in the draft?
We'll answer draft questions at a later date because, again, this is more about free agency. And to say is our starting right tackle, we got more than 5 offensive linemen on the roster, so we can roll out any 5 and call them starters if you want to at this point. But we're going to, like I just told TD, we're going to continue to look to bolster up front. We've added weapons around Will, still got to be able to protect him. Got 2 good backs out of backfield that can make explosive plays. So we want to continue to balance this thing out, and make this a balanced football team.
So the safety position, you still possibly looking to add something to free agency there? What would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it's the amount of safeties that are on the street right now. It's a plethora of guys that have played a ton of ball in the league. We visited some guys, and we're going to continue to do our due diligence, on those guys and see where the market brings us. But right now, like I said, we start draft meetings next week. And so that'll be, what is it? We're April 2nd, so the draft is 24 days away. And so I think that takes precedent right now to fine-tune that plan and bring everybody together on that. So really looking forward to that part of it. But there are a lot of good players still on the street that can help us.
Look at that in shifts at safety pre-draft, or do you think something like that likely settles down until post-draft?
Well, I think just the way the league goes, I mean, everyone is going to be, excited about the new shiny toys that is the draft class. And, once we get through the draft and we see where teams have, made their needs, because there are other teams that need safeties, I think it could take the safety market either way, depending on, who's available, at that time. And we've been well positioned and well thought out in our plan of still being able to attack post-draft, kind of like we did with DeAndre last year, to be in position to sign a player if we need to.
As you look at that inside backer position, how do you rate that free agency against rookies? Whereas, a rookie, he has to come and learn his own job, and that's tough. But then telling everybody else their job, how do you rate that against each other?
I think it's all about the person and the type of player. I've been my first year in Atlanta. We had a rookie second-round pick in Curtis Lofton. That was our Mike backer, but he was lying next to a veteran in Keith Brooking as our will backer. And Keith were the communicator that first year, and then Curtis took it over that second year. So, it's about the person. You have some rookies. Fred Warner, I was a part of drafting his first year. He was the green dot. So it's all about that person, what that person's comfortable with. And if they're able to handle the communication and they're a 3-down player, then they'll be out there. I've seen teams, I want to say it was Eric Weddle, when he was with the Chargers and when he was with the Rams, he wore the green dot. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a linebacker that does the communication. It's just about finding that person that's going to be able to do that and still effectively do their job.
For Kenneth Murray to wear that, or that's something?
No, we hadn't crossed that bridge yet. Honestly, we don't even have K9 in the building right now. So he'll be here next week, and once they're able to get with our coaches, I totally trust Coach Bush and Denard to figure out who's going to be the best to lead that group and get them lined up.
See about guys on the safety market that are still out there. Thoughts on the tackle market? What are your thoughts on?
No, they're still good players. Players have played, a ton of snaps in this league, but, not to get too far ahead, but this tackle draft class is pretty deep. And so we're going to, like we always do, we're going to find the best option for us, and hopefully we make the right decision.
Changing the return rule, does that make you more inclined to look for somebody who can specifically do that role?
Well, this league is all about the more you can do. And taking those, you only get 53 roster spots, and you get the 2 elevations. So whoever we decide to be our returner, hopefully they can bring more than just returning, unless they're just flat out dynamic. If they're Devin Hester or Dante Hall or one of those guys, we'll gladly take them. But we love for them, to do a little bit more. And I think with the new change of the kickoff rule, it's going to be an adjustment period for everybody, because again, we got to figure out how this thing is going to be policed. Throughout the league, in my opinion, it's different from saying we're going to be an emphasis on the hip drop tackle or, holding or, illegal contact. Those are things that have traditionally been policed in this league, but we're changing the structural way in which you do a play that we've never had before in our league. So the preseason is going to be very important for us more than anything to figure out how we're going to be able to execute, that play for us to start the game, because it's really going to be the first offensive snap.
Kind of the techniques that go into kick blocking as well to more of an offensive line technique. Is Bill Callahan an asset in that area as well, and do you think he can get involved with special teams to help you?
Well, that's going to be between Coach and Big Coach to figure out, where he's going to be able to help him in the structure of how we're going to do that. That's not for me to speak on, but I'm sure if there's anything that has to do with blocking up front and being able to keep people off of whether it's our quarterback, our kicker, our punter, if Coach Callahan has a technique, I'm sure we'll use it.
When you watch video of Snead, what specifically jumps off the screen at you?
It's funny you say that. They, we were just touring him and his family through the building, and we stopped in the cafeteria to get his son a drink. And you look up on the screen, and playing on the network was the Philly-Kansas City Super Bowl. And as soon as you turn your eyes up, it was him coming up, making a tackle, knocking the ball loose. And Mama Sneeze, she was like, oh, these guys are good. They had this queued up for as soon as you walked in. And I was like, Mama, I promise you we're not that good. It was just luck of the draw. But he covers people. We know that, and you guys have talked about it, him being able to match, and go in the slot, play outside, and take away the other team's number one. But again, the physicality, the willingness to come up and make tackles. A lot of the greats in the game, we know Coach Prime, was probably arguably the best cover corner ever, but people always criticized him for his quote-unquote lack of tackling, if you will. But what he brings to us in LJ and what Cheeto is going to bring on the opposite side are two guys that, like I said before, I couldn't remember if it was with Jim or with Paul. A lot of the run game is this toss crack game, right? Because now these corners can't come and cut the lineman, underneath. You have to be physical and be able to set the edge and, force it back to the stack. And we have two corners now that are physical, that'll put their face on people setting the edge and send it back to guys like Jeff and Kenneth and all our guys coming in, running, chasing the ball. So that's an impressive part, about his game that I think that really stands out.
That trade, it took a little over a week to be official. What was the holdup there, and can you just kind of take us through how that?
It was really logistics, because you get the trade done, and because he was franchised, it was the way you have to go about getting the contract executed, and all those things. And we literally left the next day, or maybe a day or two later, going to owners' meetings. And so we had other options that we could have done, but it was more of a logistical thing. It had nothing else to do with anything other than us not all being in the same spot, Kansas City not all being in the same spot. So it was more logistics than anything.
One more question about Cal, if I could, Calvin Ridley. He missed a lot of ball previous 2 seasons before last year. What did he do last year to convince you that he was worth the investment?
I mean, Calvin, I think LJ said it. He's one of the better separators in the league. I had a moment last offseason in our courtship, of Hop, and a bunch of those guys were out in Arizona working out, and it was Ridley, and it was Debo Samuels, and it was D-Hop, and so all these guys were working out, and the consistent thing you heard out of Arizona was everybody was stealing tricks from Calvin, a guy that had been out, a year, and everyone was talking about how legit that he looks and how they were, and these are all Pro Bowl players saying they were taking tools out of his bag, to help their game. And then to actually see that translate in the season, him being able to get open, separate, his speed, and his ability to track the ball, like those things stand out. And so to actually have the opportunity to even consider him was something that we had a part of our plan, but it was in our mind, really, it was more of a pipe dream, like, can we afford these guys and get, Ridley? And it initially started with a conversation with myself and Chad, and I won't go into the details of how that conversation started. I'm laughing because Chad's over here and he knows it. But it was one of those things where we agreed to talk the next day. Let's just say it that way. Like, let's just talk about it in the morning. And then it led to a conversation with myself and Callie that same night. And on my drive home, I talked to Miss Amy about it, because, again, we like to keep her in the loop of all things. And so we came in the next morning and everybody kind of had that look like, let's do it, let's try. And we did, and, we were able to pull it off and show you how this world works now. We get the deal done, the deal gets agreed to. So we're in the office, we're having a moment. And, in this particular moment, it was myself, it was Chad, it was Callie, and Nick Holtz. So we're high-fiving and bro-hugging and doing all of that. And so we were like, hey, let's get Calvin on the phone. Let's congratulate him. So we literally, this is all happening within 90 seconds. We call Calvin, we're FaceTiming him, and we're excited, and he's excited. And then my phone beeps, and it's Miss Amy. And I pick up the phone, and I'm like, hello? And she's like, is this true? And I'm like, is what true? And she was like, did we just get Calvin Ridley? And I'm like, what the hell? Like, is it out already? It's been like, I was like, we're on the phone with him right now, congratulating him that we got this done. But it just kind of shows you just the level of our teamwork, and making it happen and getting it done. And like I said before, it's It's not about me. It's not about Cali. It's not about any one individual in our program. It's just about who gives us the best advantage to get something done that's going to make us better, and that's the route we.
There you go. Titans general manager Rand Carthon today talking to the media. Didn't use the C word in 13 minutes right there. How about that?
Very good.
But a lot of descriptions of the C word going on.
He did. Yeah. A lot of contact with Miss Amy.
Yes.
Miss Amy mentioned quite a bit there.
Yes. All right. Good stuff. All right. We'll come back. By the way, second hour, we'll begin with Vince Ferrara, sports animal there in Knoxville. We'll talk about his experience in Detroit with the Vols up there. And unfortunately, they're lost to Purdue on Sunday. More of the McFarland Show next year on WNSR.
Fun is in full bloom, Tennessee, and the Multiplier Instant Games are buzzing in. These colorful tickets offer chances to multiply your wins 10, 20, 50, and even 100 times. It's a beautiful day for bigger and bigger prizes, and they're ripe for the picking right now. Find the Multiplier Instant Games today at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times national survey of pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-617-0239. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-617-0239. That's 800-617-0239. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
We were here when Eddie George left. We were here when Chris Johnson left. They had to move on too. And Derrick Henry is doing the same. These guys cannot stay forever. That's just the deal.
It's just what it is.
It's just what
Derrick
it is.
Henry made it to 30, and most people are ready to put 30-year-old running backs out to pasture.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today, variably cloudy skies with showers and thunderstorms. Some of them are going to be severe, maybe even a tornado. High temperature 78. A couple of thunderstorms overnight tonight, low 44. Showers Wednesday. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network and National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist Jim Rinaldi. Sports Radio WNSR.
Text the Strike and Spare studio now at 615-844-5600. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
You can text it like Dunt did. 615-844-5600. He says, I like what Justin said about the portal/NIL. College sports today is just JUCO on steroids. Only thing is it's wide open shootout of the OK Corral. So it is. I mean, look, it's an interesting hire by Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Damon, hit it. Now it's time for the Opinionated Larry Question of the Week. Sponsored by BuyATow.com. Call 615-480-6473. Get cash in your hand today and that vehicle hauled away.
All right, everyone. Opinionated Larry's in the building right now. We've got a question of the week for him, and it's real simple. Of course, we all know that Tennessee fell to Purdue in the Elite Eight, 72-66, the final score. Opinionated Larry is a huge University of Tennessee fan. Opinionated Larry, who do you blame the loss on?
Okay, guys, it's going to be real easy. Maybe slightly complex.
No, we can just adjust your microphone, make sure it's closer to you so the good people can hear you. That's
slightly complex, and it's a twofold answer.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to place a good portion of it on Rick Barnes for not recognizing, in my opinion, what was happening. And also on the point guard. Ziegler?
Yeah, the guy Ziegler, yes.
I don't want to say Ziegler. We had a news guy here years ago, Ziegler here. I don't want to misspeak here. Anyway, moving on. Rick Barnes in that game, I'm the best Monday morning coach ever. I've never lost. I'm never wrong.
A lot of people are.
Never wrong. And that being said, I said it early in the season. I said Rick Barnes is not a great in-game adjustment coach. He's a professional coach, so he must be doing something right. But when it comes to the big game, in the big dance, Rick Barnes, even if you guys go back, from Texas, he had great talent at Texas. I remember I was in awe looking at his talent compared to what UT had, or some SEC schools, other than maybe Kentucky back then. But moving on, the point guard, I watched him, and his defense, like maybe out front, his defense was, when it got into the weeds on pick and roll and getting off picks, he disappeared.
So offensively and defensively, you were disappointed with Zakai Ziegler.
Extremely disappointed. I mean, and mind you, he's one level away from being a next level player. I haven't played on that level. I hate to be critical, but I have to be critical because I'm a fan. I'm watching the game. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Rick Barnes calls him the glue of the team.
I saw that. Okay, so I was watching the game. I was like, oh, the offense kind of breaks down when he's not in the game.
Well, he's never not in the game.
I was going to say, he's in the game all the time.
He plays the whole game.
He came out, and I saw that it was almost lethargic. I was like, what happened? And you would think you would have, you want to say, I have a backup guy, or maybe a two guard that can go to the point, that can play it. No, he has nobody, and I saw that. So I guess they were in the game. They could have won the game. A shot here, a shot there.
Yeah.
But I saw the defense. I was like, wow. I said, where's the point guard? Because their point guard was just walking on up to the bucket, and if the center who's playing center for UT didn't come out, he could lay it up. He just threw it over to the big giant center and lay up.
Yeah.
40 points later.
Also got in foul trouble there as well.
Played 39 minutes.
39 minutes of the 40 minutes. All right,
guys.
We're short on time this week, Opinionated Larry, but we appreciate you.
Guys, you guys are awesome, man.
Thank you so much.
Who are you rooting for? Who you want to win it now?
NC State Cinderella dance in the big dance. Thank you, guys.
Opinionated Larry.
He's not going to say Purdue. He's not going to root for Purdue.
No, for Purdue now.
No.
That segment brought to you by Opinionated Larry, of course. Opinionated Larry and the Darren, take it away here with the Buy and Tow.
BuyAndTow.com, 615-480-6473. Get cash in your hand today and that vehicle hauled away. Come back to wrap up the first hour next.
You enjoy the thrill of gambling, but what happens when it becomes a problem? Whether you want to cut back or quit gambling altogether, the Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling for over 2 decades. We're here to help, not to judge. The Gambling Clinic is a Tennessee-based clinic offering in-person and telehealth support to help people win back their life. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is at the heart of Music City. Located within walking distance of the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bar Lines at the Omni is your downtown honky-tonk destination. Watch your team from any seat on their plentiful HD TVs and catch a live show on the Bar Lines stage featuring live music 7 days a week. Bar Lines has the ultimate Southern comfort food. Get started with classic fried green tomatoes or bourbon barbecue wings. Then it's on to the massive Smashville double stack or the world famous Bar Lines grinder. Oh, you've never heard of the Bar Lines grinder? 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, Dijon, smoked turkey, smoked bacon, smoked ham. Now that's some smoke you want. Local brews and local spirits are on tap at Bar Lines. Take a seat on the patio outside and soak up the rhythm of Music City. Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around. After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
It's JB and the Generals.
You know, I'll do my Stugatz weekend observations. Stugatz from the Dan Le Batard show. Patton, beep. One thing is sure. Beep. Actually, beep. 2 things are sure. Beep. Tennessee is going to the Final Four. Beep. And the Nashville Predators, beep, are winning the Stanley Cup.
Oh.
Beep. Those are my 2 observations. How about that?
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
Welcome back to the Strike and Spare Studios. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
We'll have a little bit more of an extended conversation with our guy, Vince Ferrara, as we put a bow on the men's basketball season, the women's basketball season, and get ready for football.
Absolutely. It's coming up.
It is. They got their game coming up soon. Orange and white game.
Orange and white game is coming up here. A little spring ball. And, of course, the draft a little bit later.
And the draft, that's right.
Maybe get some Vols names called here. That never hurts with recruiting either.
So we'll have a good conversation with Vince as he was driving back yesterday from Detroit. We'll get into all things Tennessee since we didn't have a show yesterday because the Braves were beating up on the White Sox.
Good for it, man. Just come on. Embrace it. Embrace your hate.
Okay.
It's okay.
I think I did.
Go for it.
But you're right. I kind of waffled.
Embrace your hate. It's fine. I promise you they don't care.
They'll be in Chicago for one more game against the White Sox tomorrow.
There you go.
And they got it tonight.
There you go.
By the way, coverage will start at 6:25.
Free yourself. Feel better.
Right here on these airwaves.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Candid and constructive is how the White House described President Biden's call with Chinese leader Xi Jinping to discuss security issues, Taiwan, AI, and, according to National Security Council spokesman John Kirby, U.S. efforts to regulate TikTok.
He made it clear to President Xi that this was not about a ban
of the application, but rather our interest in divestiture, so that the national security interests and the data security of the American people can be protected.
The president also spoke with celebrity chef Jose Andres to express condolences. He's the founder of the World Central Kitchen charity, and 7 of its aid workers in Gaza were killed by an Israeli strike. UN says almost 200 humanitarian workers have been killed in the war. Maryland Governor Wes Moore announced another channel's been opened to allow small boats to bypass the wreckage of the collapsed Key Bridge 1 week after that collapse. This is ABC News.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouth-watering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code QUALITY at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Attention business owners. WNSR has some exciting opportunities for your business to thrive in the dynamic world of sports radio advertising. As the proud home of some of your favorite sports teams like the Atlanta Braves, Memphis Grizzlies, and more, we understand the power of sports in bringing people together and creating a passionate community. We believe that your business can become an integral part of this experience, reaching a diverse and engaged audience. Contact the WNSR sales team for an opportunity to discuss how Nashville's sports radio can elevate your brand to new heights. Whether you're interested in a specific sponsorship package or would like a customized solution, we are here to meet your advertising needs. Call 615-844-1039. 615-844-1039 or email saleswnsr@gmail.com. That's saleswnsr@gmail.com.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Throw me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour of the McFarland Show here on this Tuesday afternoon. Darren and Justin live in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. DJ Damon is alongside. Remember, there is another round of bad weather we think coming our way. So just embrace for that and just be cognizant of the weather. Not sure where it's going to be hitting, who's going to be affected, what's going to happen. I know Vanderbilt was set to host Western Kentucky in baseball today over at the Hawk.
Okay.
And they have canceled that game. So that game has been canceled because of weather. And so that will not take place. And look, I can just tell you on my front, basically all youth sports today, if you were outdoors, you're not.
Yeah.
That's already been canceled.
Jeez.
It's been canceled for a while. So we'll keep you posted this hour if anything comes our way. Let's head to East and let's go to Knoxville. He is back from Detroit. He is Vince Ferrara. He's the host of the morning show there on 99.1 The Sports Animal in Knoxville. He now joins us. He had great seats there in Little Caesars Arena, watching Tennessee trying to do something they've never done in program history and punch their ticket into the Final Four. Came up a little bit short. Great game against Purdue, but the two stars were stars, and that's what you want. But unfortunately, one of the stars was going to be a loser, and it was, unfortunately, Dalton Knecht. Vince, how you doing?
Good, boys. How we doing?
Doing fantastic. Tell us about your experience there in Detroit. As great game between them and Creighton. and then a great game with them with Purdue on Sunday.
Man, overall, it was a tremendous experience. I thought.
By the way, the atmosphere, Vinny, just through television, you were there.
Yeah,
was fantastic. Like it felt alive in that arena, just watching it on television.
Well, I went back and watched afterwards the Tennessee games on TV, and especially the Purdue game, the Creighton game as well. It really did translate onto television, and I thought it was one of the more energetic regionals, if not the most, out of any of them. So that was really cool, and that was a reflection of what the reality was in the arena. I mean, Purdue had the most fans, so obviously when things were going well for them, it was rocking. But man, Tennessee fans, they were outnumbered. It was probably 70-30, 75-25, but man, they tried their hardest to be as loud. So it was just the intensity in that game. In the Elite Eight is something that I think maybe only Tennessee and Kentucky in the SEC men's basketball tournament. You remember that from a number of years ago. I think it was in the semifinals. I mean, it was basically half the building blue, half the building orange. That was just such an incredible game. That's the only one that I would say would rival that in terms of energy, intensity. What was at stake? Nobody was happy. Everybody was unhappy with officiating. Believe it or not, Purdue fans thought that, Zach Edey wasn't getting the fair end of calls, which is pretty funny to Vols fans. But we'll get to that. Ask me about the whole Zach Edey.
That's where I was going next.
Yeah. So, but just what was on the line, the level of play, I thought it was Final Four caliber. I thought that, yes, there were mistakes, there were fouls and things like that, but I thought the quality of those two teams and then the star power was amazing. The shot making, especially of Dalton Connect, just something, probably the most intense basketball game that I've experienced with the highest stakes. So it was enjoyable for me, and we lucky to have great sponsors to make the trip possible, and did a ton of interviews. Locker Room NCAA makes a whole lot of interviews available pregame and then postgame as well. So that was very helpful also.
Look, I get it. You don't have decades and decades and decades of Vols basketball in the history banks, but you certainly are aware of it. You've been in Knoxville for a good while. You've got people around you that you've worked with at the Sports Animal that could certainly weigh in on this, and it may be unfair, but I just your opinion before we get to Zach Edey. Dalton Connect, where does he rank all-time Vol? 1 year, the impact he had on this basketball program is what?
Well, to kind of put it in perspective and put him in a category, he set the single game record for Tennessee in an NCAA tournament game for points scored with 37. Ernie Grunfeld previously had that record at 36. So he was just a few points short of Allen Houston's all-time points record for a single season at Tennessee. For an individual, I mean, it's the career thing is hard when some guys played multiple years versus Dalton Connect one. So I'm not going to get into all those rankings, but in terms of a single season, that's the kind of company and category that he is in statistically and should be. And I don't know, Darren, if it was you or I was asked, I think, several times, is Dalton Connect, is he going to be ready for this stage? And I think we got our answer unequivocally.
Yeah.
The question was everybody else going to be able to do enough? And in some cases they were. Some cases, like Purdue, they were not.
So you would put him in this, is it fair to say Ernie and Bernie, You said it, Allen Houston. Do you throw in Chris Lofton? I don't know who you put him in that same group, right? Like the top tier group of all time Vols basketball players. Would you put him in that group, the top group?
For a single season.
Sure.
Like I said, it's just so hard because now it's just 1 year and all that. But
his impact was huge.
Absolutely.
1 year was huge.
Think about how powerful now this Tennessee coaching staff, the power they have in the transfer portal right now, and to be able to be in competition with anyone else. Look at what Dalton Connect did at Tennessee. That wasn't Dalton Connect at Northern Colorado. Dalton Connect, the person, combined with the University of Tennessee, became Dalton Connect, one of the best players in college basketball and likely a lottery pick. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just the other. It was that mix, and that will go a long way for them in the portal to bring that together. And something that Rick Barnes pointed out numerous times, he said that Dalton Connect didn't talk to him about the NIL. He wasn't interested in it. That wasn't his driving force, was the NIL. It was getting better as a basketball player, being coached hard, rounding out his game for the next level. And he wasn't even promised anything when he got here in terms of starting or any of that stuff. He came to Tennessee for the right reasons, and not like many others, especially football players, that are making decisions based on NIL. And look how it worked out for him. Look how it worked out for the University of Tennessee. He wanted to go to a Final Four and win a national championship. But, man, you talk about a great use of the transfer portal and doing it the right way. That was perfection on both ends, and you bet your bottom dollar Tennessee is using that and has that over pretty much over anybody in the country, because he was the best transfer in the country, period.
I don't want to really get into all the controversy, to get should he have been called for more fouls, all that. We just don't have the time. There's just too much going on with Kelly Harper out, and I'm not going to go there. I do want to ask you, because you saw him in person, how do you stop? And Purdue is now in the Final Four, and they're going to take on NC State, and it is going to be interesting to see how they call with DJ Burns and Zach Edey in the same game. Is it going to get really bogged down with free throws and a lot of fouls? I don't know, but how do you go about even trying to stop a guy like Zach Edey? I mean, it is one thing to be tall. It's another thing to be 7'4", and I don't even know, what do they say he weighs? 300 pounds? Yeah.
300.
7'4", 300 pounds. Like, how do you begin to try to slow that down? Or can you?
And he's mobile too. It's not like he's just a plotter.
Big blob, yeah.
Right. It's not. He doesn't wear like knee braces, knee bands. When he has his full juice, he can get up and down the court. Now, to answer your question, one thing that you can do that Gonzaga, for a while when they were hanging into the game, they were able to do, is play an open court game. And Purdue will get out and run some. But if you don't get any whistles for an extended period of time, then you can get up and down. Zach Edey was laboring down the court a little bit, but when he gets rested up, then he gets his juices back, and then he gets up the floor pretty surprisingly well.
Yeah, like DJ Burns, like it's, sometimes like you don't even, it takes you 8 seconds to see him come into the play. Like Zach Edey's, right, for a 7'4" guy, he is not like that. What's interesting about Purdue is you just think, all their work's in the paint. Like if they don't have that going, they're done. No, didn't they lead the country in 3-point shooting as well?
In percentage. They don't take a ton of threes. So, yeah, and Tennessee did a really good job. That's one of the crazy things is they didn't shoot. They really got and bothered the guards. But here's the thing, is their guards are so good, and that was one of the biggest breakdowns for Tennessee, is that Braden Smith was able to zoom by Zakai Ziegler a lot. Then Meshack was in foul trouble. They didn't put him on the ball enough, in my opinion, and so they didn't defend that drive. When Tennessee defends the drive, they're fantastic defensively. When they don't, that's problems. And so they compensated for not having those threes by driving Tennessee and getting to the rim, and he's an unbelievable sealer. So you get out in transition, that's one way. Another thing Tennessee was not able to do, especially with Adu in the game, is keep him from pitching a tent, basically, there on the low block, whether you think he's in the paint or not for 3-second calls or not. But if he's on the low block, forget it. And so Tennessee could not displace him enough, and it gave up that. Now, very few people, honestly, are going to be able to keep him from doing that. But when he is hot, when he's farther away from the basket, now your guards can go in there and swipe at him. You can send a double. You can bluff at him to make him think, so he passes out of it. Now he'll shoot from farther distance, which is a lower percentage. Now you have a fighting chance at least. He's going to still make some shots. But Tennessee wasn't able to do that. And, Waka played the best against him, but then he was in foul trouble. And they had such little confidence in Adu stopping him. They went to J.P. Estrella, who did all he could. But that would be the biggest thing is try however you can to not give up that low block position and see what kind of steals and turnovers you can get from him. And if you can get out in transition, it'll help you. But it truly is a full team effort to try to slow him down. And just real quick on the whole officiating thing with Edey, we were there at the Vol Network spot, and we all talked about it on the crew. They could have called more fouls on Tennessee against Edey. But here's the problem. There's times where he wasn't fouled and they called it. There's times where he fouled and they didn't call it. There's the 3 seconds. There was traveling. It was just so inconsistent across the board. It's not that they breathed on them and they called a foul. It was incredibly inconsistent. Sometimes it was things were called and sometimes they weren't. It's just so difficult to officiate that guy. But there was a lot that was missed, but I think it was missed on both ends.
Michigan on our YouTube page says, make Vince take calls. LOL. We're not going to do that. But he does want you to be asked about Kelly Harper and how their expectations are outsized to the current women's basketball landscape. So we will do that on the other side. We'll step away for a few minutes. We'll come back. More with Vince Ferrara, 99.1 The Sports Animal in Knoxville, next here on The McFarland Show, WNSR.
Childress Collision Center is proudly saluting all of our first responders for their service. This message is brought to you by family-owned and operated Childress Collision Center. From a scratch or a dent to a full collision repair and expert paint matching, trust Childress Collision Center. Stop on by 1108 8th Avenue South in Nashville or call 615-266-4441. 615-266-4441. That's Childress Collision Center. They're people who care.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up, and if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 800-527-4903. That's 800-527-4903. 800-527-4903. Again, 800-527-4903.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro, with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro, where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Grizz Nation. Join us Saturday, April 6th at 7 p.m. for a special Marc Gasol retirement night when your Grizzlies take on the Philadelphia 76ers, presented by FedEx. Fans will want to arrive early and stay late to celebrate Marc Gasol. The first 5,000 fans will receive a commemorative vinyl record, and the jersey retirement ceremony will take place post-game. Get hyped. Get ready for an epic matchup and secure your tickets today by visiting Grizzlies.com.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
It's the McFarland Show. It's a Tuesday afternoon. I'm Justin McFarland, Darren McFarland here, along with DJ Damon King. And on the line right now, we've got our good friend Vince Farrar from 99.1 The Sports Animal out there at Knoxville. And he has just returned from Detroit, where he watched the Tennessee Volunteers fall to Purdue in the Elite Eight game. 72-66 was the final score from out there. We just finished talking about the amazing game that these two teams played, and their star players showed up in a big way. But now we're going to switch gears to another situation happening there with Rocky Top, and that, of course, is Kelly Harper. Kelly Harper was let go by the women's basketball team as their head coach after 5 seasons. And Vince is on the line with us right now. Vince, listen, Darren and I had a nice sparring session in the opening round here of the show, talking about the job at the University of Tennessee when it comes to their women's basketball program. I asked the question, Vince, is it a good job? And when I said that, I don't mean do they have what it takes to win there. Obviously, we know about the tradition and all the facilities and everything else they've got. My bigger question is, Vince, are their expectations too high? So, in other words, you can have a good job, you can have all the toys, but if they expect you to be a certain thing that you cannot be, is it really all that good of a job? And I just wonder, Vince, are the expectations up there for what they are in this conference with this neighborhood where you have 2 Hall of Fame coaches coaching in the same conference with you? What do they really want any coach coming in to do?
I think there's probably a soft landing spot in between the two of you there. I do think that there probably is, for some, there are unrealistic expectations of the Pat Summitt glory years where they were the program in women's college basketball. There's some that still reflect on that, and I think expect that. I also think it has been so far removed that bar for probably the larger portion of the fan base has dropped so much that I don't think you're getting back to that expectation again. And, I mean, we're talking about Holly Worley taking over in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So what she had to deal with, absolutely, she had no chance to ever live up to it. Now, with some of Pat Summitt's players, elite players, she was able to get to 3 Elite Eights. The problem is how far they dropped in the back end once that cycled out. And then Kelly Harper didn't have that same following of elite players to build off of. But because she played for Pat Summitt, there was still some pretty high expectations, but not what Holly Warlick had to deal with. And Kelly Harper was never able to get past the Sweet 16. So I do think there's high expectations, but I don't think it's higher than what Danny White has for any of the athletic programs at the University of Tennessee. And guess what? Most all of them, except for women's basketball, are competing for championships, and at least have improved their status to where they're not far away from that and are trending up, or at least in that conversation. So that was not really the case in the SEC with Kelly Harper. So she won a lot of regular season games, but did not against the highest competition and didn't have enough tournament success. And she had one class where she didn't have a single player signed from high school in a recruiting class. Zero. And that was one of the bigger red flags a couple of years ago when that happened. And that's hard to overcome. And then you're scrambling in the portal, and I don't think you can live just off of the portal. You have to have star high school players and be in a position to pick and choose the best in the portal. So to answer your question, I do think there's high expectations. I don't think they're so unrealistic that top coaches would shy away from it. You're not getting Dawn Staley and Gino and some of that stuff that you hear, but that doesn't mean that this wouldn't be a appealing position, because you mentioned the resources and the money and all those kind of facilities. That's not something coaches scoff to. And then being a part of the SEC, that's still appealing. So yes, I do think it's high expectations, but not unrealistic.
Just want to throw this out there real quick. Kelly Harper won 67% of her games that she coached there in 5 years. Holly Warwick won 72% of her games that she coached. Pat Summitt won 85% of her games over, a much longer career than either one of those two ladies, just showing you the difference in dominance that she was when she had that. But then again, it was a very different sport when she had it as well. And, I just wondered as well, Vince, because I know I've seen it in football, how much oxygen the South Carolina and LSU take up in this conversation as people you have to compete against, not just on the court, but off the court when it comes to players, and how much better could UT be if they weren't dealing with this? Because I promise you, there's some other teams in the SEC back then who were saying to themselves, if it wasn't for Pat Summitt, we could be doing a lot better than what we're doing.
Yes, it's a fair point, Justin, but you cannot be afraid of getting in that space. Look at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, for a stretch under Vic Schaefer, they put themselves in that situation. They hopped over Tennessee and everybody else and put themselves in that national championship conversation for a stretch.
I literally was going to just bring that example up. You just took the words right out of my mouth.
I was going to say, you and Darren sound a lot alike right now, but okay.
That's exactly what I was going to go.
We hadn't talked about it. So that makes it even worse. That other programs, South Carolina's become what it has become. LSU went and hired Kim Mulkey, and look what they are, and they were struggling big time before the hire of Kim Mulkey. And then Mississippi State. Now, Mississippi State has dropped back some also as well. Ole Miss now has gotten much improved. So Tennessee can and should be there, but you have to have the right hire in order to do it. And just to give you a name or two, Wes Moore has ties to this part of the state at NC State, but now he's got them in the Final Four. He's 66 years old. He followed Kelly Harper at NC State, Kelly Harper was on his staff at Chattanooga. He was at Maryville College. So, but it'll be tough to pull him from NC State. Jeff Waltz at Louisville is one whose name has come up before. He's done a ton of winning. And the most interesting name in digging in is Lindsay Gottlieb at USC. She got USC to the Elite Eight. Juju Watkins has been unbelievable. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 in terms of women's basketball stars behind Caitlin Clark. And she's got the #1 recruiting class next year, 6 top 100 players. And there's the thought that maybe if you can hire her, some of those players go with her. You can't make a hire just for that, but it's unbelievable what she has done.
What's
there.
her background? Where was she? Where did she come from?
She came from Cal before. She won at Cal.
So she's is she a West Coast girl then?
West Coast, and she also a couple years on the Cleveland Cavaliers staff.
Huh.
I read that Steve Kerr said that after that happened, he was like, man, why didn't we think of that? Because he wanted to hire her with the Warriors. Once he thought about it, he's like, well, why didn't we think about it? That's how highly he thought of her. The NBA certainly did in bringing her. So you got to be able to recruit, and recruit the right players. She's got a track record of recruiting at 46 as well, Elite 8 now. That's a big name out there to watch. They're going to talk about the former Lady Vols like Carol Lawson. You cannot, and Danny White won't. You cannot just hire the best of the Lady Vols. That's what they did last time. They were determined to hire a former Lady Vol. You got to hire the best out there, and I think Danny White is going to do that.
So go outside the family, air quotes, if that's the best hire. If that's the best hire.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's the best, yep.
Took Alabama about 15 to 20 years to figure it out before they hired outside the family.
Michigan's done that before, right?
Yeah.
They finally.
But then they went back in the family.
I understand so they went out, but that's what they were always getting accused of. Like, gosh, you always got to get the Michigan tie, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But you're right. They eventually came back with Jim Harbaugh, and he won them a natty.
He won him a natty. So you never know how it goes full circle, or whatever. Former Vol may be an assistant right now that's climbing the ranks, but not ready quite to take over the job quite yet. So it could come back around to that at some point.
That USC head coach, that's very intriguing. But honestly, no offense, why would she leave L.A. and USC? Because when USC's got it going on, it's a whole lot of fun, right? They don't care when you're losing or if you're just mediocre. But when you got it going on, the star power comes out, and it's fun. So that would be, I think that would be a hard.
But what
pull.
happened to the whole accepting the challenge thing you were just talking about an hour ago? Accepting the challenge,
No,
the coaches would run forward to that.
Well,
remember?
Her challenge is she's going to be in the Big Ten.
No, but this is the
LA.
challenge. The SEC and the 2 Hall of Fame coaches and Pat Summitt's legacy and the challenge.
No, you were talking about
that's
Wes
not the
Moore.
challenge.
Wes Moore. You say, I don't know if I want to leave NC State and jump in that fishbowl. I don't think coaches are geared like that. And by the way,
but this coach is the coach you're talking about from USC seems to be geared that way. The way you're speaking about her,
Why?
So she would leave USC to come to Knoxville.
No, I said she won't. Did you not listen?
But no, you just said well,
no. I didn't.
But see, that's my question. Is
my
thing is
she wouldn't come. You could go after. She's not leaving.
She's not leaving, but you were expecting the NC State coach to leave NC State and come to. Okay, see that's all I'm trying to point out. That's all I'm trying to point out.
Have to put up with every day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Vince. Vince is on the line here. Vince is our guest here.
And look, Danny White. This is an aggressive move to make this change this year and not give Kelly Harper another year. I think he's going to be aggressive, and maybe like a Becky Hammond in the WNBA. Would she leave the WNBA for? It wouldn't surprise me if he asked, or if there's someone out there like the coach at Syracuse he hired at Buffalo. So maybe he has to go to someone he has familiarity with. Hey, it worked for football when people doubted it. So I think he will explore all those options. Maybe they won't want to come, but you got to get it right one way or the other. And Danny White does have a pretty good track record so far of getting those hires right, whether they're selection number 1 or 7, even though they won't they'll only say the number 7 was the number 1. So.
All right. Well, we'll see what they decide to do. I want to switch to football very quickly because the orange and white game is coming up here on April the 13th. I'm reading here that there is going to be a limited capacity. And when they say limited, we all know that Neyland Stadium is one of the largest stadiums in the country, if not the world, when it comes to college football. And they are going to limit the fan capacity to 10,000 because of construction? Really?
Yes,
really,
sir.
Vince?
Yes, sir. And they're still going to they're going to have a tailgate party. There's still going to be a lot of fan things that they can participate in beforehand. Obviously, there'll be limited concessions, but it's an opportunity to still have the game, have those players go through it in front of some fans, and then they get their football work in, and then some fans can come out and still experience it. But I mean, they're just doing so much. The press box isn't going to be available to any of us like normal. We're only going to be able to be in the sideline in a certain section because they're doing so much work to the south side of the of Neyland Stadium and other areas too. So it's sort of a compromise, and I think it's great. Well, it may be a little messy or inconvenient where you park and all that, but it's just what they had to do in order to make it work.
When are they expected to be done, Vince? Do they expect to be done with all that by September?
2035.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a multi-year project. I mean, they're doing a lot this year, but then they'll kind of close it out, and then they'll do another phase next year, at least one more year, might even be 2. Kind of like with Lindsey Nelson Stadium, they did a 1-year phase this year, and then they'll do a second phase. Danny White told us on the show a couple of weeks ago that they're hoping to have everything done by the 2025 season. So all these projects are multi-year. And Danny White said in a statement, "You won't be hearing from me until they make those hires." So unfortunately, I don't think we're getting them on Sports Talk until they hire a women's basketball coach. So.
Wow. It sounds like what they're doing at Vandy a little bit there. The type of construction they're talking about, where you're gutting everything here. So, all right. So we're looking forward to all of that. Hopefully, fans can, the limited fans can see something for what's coming up here this fall, Darren.
So real quick on the way out, how long do you think? I mean, I know you don't know, but just your gut. Like, is this going to be quick, or like I know there's no rush. I mean. But there is, right? Like it never ends. Like you gotta put together a roster and a staff and all that stuff. So how fast do you think this is going to be?
It would not surprise me if it moves fairly quick. The thing that could extend it is if there's anyone in that final
Final four, right? Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So that could.
But that starts
down
Friday, though.
Right. And look, Danny White was there in Detroit. I saw him. Said hello and all that, but it depends on how long they've been thinking about doing this move. To me, they've probably known about the move. I don't know this for sure, but the fact that they made the move when the buyout went from 100% of the remaining contract to 50% on April 1st. That to me tells me they were waiting to get to that point and then make the move, whereas they probably had decided, and then once they got to that, then that cut back on what they owed in the remainder of the contract. So
let me ask you something real quick, Vin. That's interesting that it sparked something on the way out. If they beat South Carolina instead of losing that game in the SEC tournament semifinal, is Kelly Harper still the coach today?
Depends on what happens afterwards.
Okay, let's just play. That was the semi. What if they won?
Right.
What if they won the SEC tournament? Is she the coach still today? And the same thing happened in the NCAA tournament. Same exact results.
I would lean towards no, that it would not change it. That this would be more of a NCAA tournament type of result-based decision, and the totality of everything else around the program. especially if it didn't lead to tournament success. You get the conference tournament championship, but it didn't lead to NCAA. But you just never know what that would have done, afterwards for them.
Right.
If they would have gotten a deeper run because of that, maybe so. But it's kind of like going back to Dooley. If he beats Missouri, does he keep his job? I mean, some people say yes, some people say no. It is hard to tell. My guess is that they had made this decision at some point this year.
Good stuff. Appreciate it. Enjoy your week.
Thank you,
chat
sir.
next week. Thanks.
Always enjoy it, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Vince Ferrara, fantastic stuff. 99.1 The Sports Animal there in Knoxville. Wide open the rest of the hour. 615-844-5600 is how you can get in touch with the McFarland Show right here on WNSR.
And now, Comstock & Sons Construction is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Please visit DAV.org and consider donating to the disabled U.S. veterans who need our help. This message is brought to you by Comstock & Sons Construction. For all your residential remodeling needs, give the pros a call today and ask about their military and senior discounts. 931-703-5623. 931-703-5623. That's Comstock & Sons Construction. They're professionals who care.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouthwatering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale, where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. With Omaha Steaks, the possibilities are endless. Endless flavor and endless value. Every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Simply go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale today. And don't forget to use promo code SIZZLE at checkout to get an extra $30 off your order. Hurry, because this deal won't last long. Kickstart your spring grilling today. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIFT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code LIFT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIFT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIFT.
Buyandtow.com. Get cash for junk cars. You have a vehicle that's become a problem? You can get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. They'll buy your vehicle no matter the condition, in your driveway, at your mechanic shop, or even on the side of the road. You can call them at 615-480-6473 or visit buyandtow.com. Get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. 615-480-6473. Buyandtow.com. That's buyandtow.com.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen.
Tonight, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, and the Atlanta Braves roll on from Chicago as they square off against the White Sox.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6:25, exclusively on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Text the Strike and Spare studio now at 615-844-5600. You're listening to The McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Good stuff from Vince, as always. Really good conversation. Braves back in action tonight in Chi-Town. And that pregame coverage will begin at 6:25. 625.
Okay.
625. Braves in Chicago. Chicago looking for their first win. And Lopez is on the hill for the Bravos. They look really good. I know they've got one stumble, but they look really, really good. I do think we were talking about it during the break. It is interesting what they're going to do in that job. I don't look. The whole Geno thing, that's hilarious. Don Staley's not going there. Like, you're not getting any of them. I don't know. That is the other part. Remember when there used to be a time, Justin, where it was like, hey, we're so-and-so. We're Alabama football, or we're Michigan football, or we're fill in the blank. Kentucky basketball, Blue Bloods. Anybody will come here. And then, remember, then we hit this phase where people are like, nah, that's great, but I'm not coming there.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot changed. Yeah.
Lots changed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything, things just aren't viewed the same way.
No.
As they, used to be, where the Blue Bloods or the powerhouse programs is like, if you came calling, that coach was leaving. They were going there.
Yeah.
Because that was the almighty fill in the blank.
Yeah.
I just don't, I'm not so sure that exists anymore.
No, not really. Everything has changed now. You can get paid everywhere.
Right.
You can get seen everywhere. You could become a star everywhere now.
Everywhere.
There used to be only certain places where you could become a household name. And that still holds true to a certain degree a little bit. But for the most part, you can become a pretty big deal no matter where you are if you're successful enough. And that has taken away the luster from a lot of these bigger programs that were banking on their name and on their brand to try and bring people in. Well, we don't need that anymore. Now I can just be successful from Iowa.
Yeah,
Ask Caitlin Clark.
Thank you.
I don't need the platform of the University of Tennessee or of South Carolina or of LSU or any. I'm going to be worldwide from right here in Iowa.
Olivia Dunn, LSU gymnast. She honestly could be a gymnast anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
And it would be the same. Would it not?
Probably.
Right.
There's no success based on where she is.
Because it's LSU.
Because
right.
it's LSU.
Yeah, no.
What is LSU?
Oh.
Well, I mean, what is LSU women's gymnastics? What is Iowa women's basketball? I mean, they had no name recognition whatsoever prior to what's happening to them now. So, yes, the world has changed. Social media has changed things. Conference realignment has changed things. The ever-growing amount of channels you can turn to watch things. You can watch anything almost at any time now. So you can be seen anywhere. You can be seen from anywhere. There's no reason why Caitlin Clark couldn't happen at Belmont. I mean, honestly. I mean, it could happen here just as easily as it happened there.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know why'd she give up that last year to go to the WNBA? She's making millions at Iowa. Millions.
Yeah. She's probably not going to make more than WNBA. That's for sure. Not in the WNBA.
I think this
is not the NBA. It's the WNBA.
The rookie contract is like $100,000 or less.
Yeah, you can do a little bit more.
She's making millions in Iowa.
Could do a little bit more there. Might as well cash in.
If what I saw was true, I think the number was like a lottery pick. It was like $76,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would she leave Iowa? I'd go back another year.
I don't know.
By the way, could you imagine? I don't even know what's going to happen.
No,
they may win it all.
They could.
Can you imagine her price tag next year? If she's like, all right, one more time.
She would be must-see TV all over again, all next year as well. I mean, it would be a circus no matter where she went. She's a walking 30 for 30 movie. She is. I mean, that whole thing is just absolutely incredible. But again, it didn't have to happen at a big school. It didn't have to happen with a big coach. It was just Iowa women's basketball.
And good for the women's game right now. The two of us have been covering this for a long time. And even with the history of Geno and the history of Pat and the history of women's, I don't think it is by far, in my opinion, the most popular it has ever been.
Think so.
And it's not even close, in my opinion.
Think so.
I could be wrong, but I don't feel that way. I feel like last night, I saw at a baseball game. We got home, and we watched the second half of Iowa and LSU. And that's what we wanted to watch.
Mm.
And I can tell you honestly, and hope this doesn't make people mad, but it's just being honest.
Some
I
of
don't
the
remember
UT-UConn games got to that level a little bit.
No, that's it. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like it would be UT-UConn? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm in.
But there's more star power.
But I watched USC too.
Yeah, I'm saying Juju watched
against UConn.
Yeah, right. I watched it too. I even told my wife, "Can you believe I'm watching two women's basketball
that
games?"
girl's a freshman. A freshman.
Caitlin Clark, I couldn't take my eyes off of watching her.
Some of the threes she chucked was
wow.
I was like,
but I mean,
what was that? 40 feet?
Yeah.
They've been working on it for a while. So it's only natural that at some point it breaks through because, it's not like it's never happened and this is something that's brand new. It's been on the radar, the sports radar, for, 40, 50 years at this point. It just hasn't been high on the sports radar other than some peak moments that we've already spoken about, UT and UConn. Other than that, it's been on the way back burner. Mm-hmm. So this is an opportunity now where the NBA, the NBA, who's the face of the NBA right now? It's arguable. Like, there's no standout
I'm telling you where the
superstar.
You know where the NBA's going? It's already there.
What, Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the NBA stardom is going to be European players. Like 2 years from now, every star in the NBA is all going to be European players. Would you agree?
It certainly seems headed that direction.
Wemby in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic in Dallas.
Yeah.
You already have Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You've got who's the cat in Denver?
Denver, yeah.
Jokic.
I mean, it certainly seems to be headed that direction.
All the superstars in the league are going to be European players.
So there is a gap there. Not to say that those players aren't good, but as far as marketability and things like that in this country, it's not as high as it was during the Jordan era, during the LeBron era, during the Kobe era, during Magic and Bird even. It wasn't.
Yeah, because they drafted those guys.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Most of them didn't pan out.
No. So, I mean, it's all. So now you shift. So now something else gets your attention. This women games gets your attention. Even the Kim Mulkey controversy of whatever articles that she's mad about, all of that gets your attention as well.
Good or bad, but it
good
gets
or
attention.
bad. Yep. It's another peg that people are talking about in women's college basketball. MTSU contributing with an upset. I mean, these are small things that lead to big gains later on.
All right, we'll take our final break, come back, and wrap up Tuesday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. Guess what? The Cats are back. The Nashville Cats will be returning to the Municipal Auditorium on April 27th in the season opener against the Minnesota Myth. There will be 5 total games played at Municipal Auditorium with 1 additional game played up in Clarksville at F&M Bank Arena on Armed Forces Day on Saturday, May 18th. For player or dance team tryouts or tickets, log on to thenashvillecats.com.
A friend of mine just bought a new house for the first time. A new house. I mean, my wife and I'd love to own a house. So I asked him how he did it. And he smiled and he said he went to the knowledge tree. He had this happy look on his face. So I told him to tell me more. And he said, John, the lack of knowledge will keep you poor. Then he handed me a brochure. It was from Knowledge Tree Mortgage. Now I understood. And after one phone call, I understood even more. Knowledge Tree Mortgage specializes in first-time home buyers. Folks like me who get the runaround from banks, and he got us pre-qualified. Knowledge Tree Mortgage got us our mortgage. And tomorrow, my wife and I are going to become first-time home buyers. Here's the number, 859-9599. 859-9599. Money doesn't grow on trees. Knowledge does. Knowledge Tree Mortgage, 859-9599. 859-9599.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Hey, if you're looking for a place to catch all the hockey and hoops action this spring, look no further than the Alley Pub in Bellevue. And now here's Samantha to tell you about one of their great weekly specials.
Attention service industry. We want to say cheers to you at the Alley Pub, located at 7040 Highway 70 South in Bellevue. Every Wednesday night, bring a copy of your ABC card or pay stub to receive 20% off of your tab. Only at the Alley Pub, Bellevue's best sports bar and grill.
It's a Bill King Show.
Brad, when that news hit, how did you respond? What were your thoughts?
I'm always thinking batting first, but from a historical aspect, there used to be debate as far as who the greatest is. It Bear Bryant? Is it Nick Saban? To me, it's Nick Saban, and I'm not a guy that lives in the moment. I just think Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach of all time.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
The McFarland Show, broadcasting live in Rutherford County on 107.9 FM.
Our buddy Johnny in Vancouver on Twitter, he tweets at us. Just wanted to send his love and prayers to the Preds and Titans family and everyone back here. Safety first. Speaking of, got another round coming through right now. So there's tornado watch. Is that correct?
Yes, tornado watch.
TV, Justin?
Yeah, tornado watch in effect now for most of Middle Tennessee until 9 p.m. tonight. We do have another round of rain moving through. There's still one more line they're thinking will develop maybe in the next couple of hours. So we'll see.
Jason, also on X, has tweeted at both of us and the radio station. Cheers, gentlemen. And it's a screenshot of... We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks like I'm yawning. So he got me.
Yawning?
Yawning.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a busy man. It's okay to hear.
I'm laying back in the chair,
okay.
yawning. It looks like I'm yawning. Jason also said, I said the Iowa-Colorado Women's Sweet 16 game was the second highest rated March Madness game, men and women, to that point. He said the hunch is he believes Iowa-LSU will be basically the highest rated game of any men and women.
Yeah, I've seen that. He also goes on to say that, these games could be on par with Monday Night Football, which would be pretty high if it gets to that level. I mean, it's a moment in time. Now, can it stick and stay? That's something very different. Is it a moment or is it a movement? And, that's the biggest question here. And I don't know which one it is.
This is not a joke. We were not on yesterday because of the Braves baseball. It was April Fool's Day. And kudos to Trevecca because apparently they got some people. They put out some stuff about them bringing football.
About launching a football team?
Yeah. And it was a joke. And they were selling... They had a team store selling hoodies that said undefeated since 1901.
Oh, man.
And apparently they got some people.
Oh, that would be something.
Yeah.
Trevecca and Belmont can both play that joke very well. And some people would buy in.
A little birdie said they even got some applicants applying for position coaches.
For the football team.
For the football team.
Nobody thought you may want to check that out. Just see, they got compliance. There's a whole lot that needs to happen for you. You just can't launch a football team.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So kudos to Trevecca. Well done.
Good for them. That's good.
Also, Predators tonight at home against the Bruins. Be safe if you're going to be out and about. That'll be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out what they do tonight. That'll be a big contest. Bruins tonight. Thursday night will be the Blues. Have a great rest of your day. Continue to be safe Braves baseball a little bit later tonight. We'll see you then.